This Vallejo, California body cam video shows a police officer throwing a man to the ground just seconds after meeting him, leaving a bloody gash on his head.
How's it going?
But they pulled me out.
Okay.
Is anybody else here with you?
It's me.
Is it by yourself?
Yeah. Why? I got my dog.
I don't care about the dog. You can bring the dog over.
Okay, do me a favor. Keep your hands out of your pocket while you talk to me.
Do me
a favor. Do me a favor.
It's
keep
not
your hands out
me.
of
It's
your pocket.
them.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay, stop. Stop. Turn around. Turn around.
Were this man's rights violated? Are there other issues at this department? Let's take a look. This comes to us from the Vallejo Sun newsletter. I'll post a link in the description below. Newly released video shows a Vallejo police officer throw a man to the ground seconds after meeting him outside a bar earlier this year, leaving the man with a swollen gash on his head. Officer Rosendo Mesa had encountered the man, identified as 58-year-old Moise Bernal, if I got that correctly, outside a bar after Bernal had been kicked out on January 21st. Mesa arrested Bernal for alleged disorderly conduct and resisting arrest, but he was not charged with a crime.
How's it going?
But they pulled me out.
Okay.
Is anybody else here with you?
It's me.
Is it by yourself?
Yeah. Why? I got my dog.
I don't care about the dog. You can bring the dog over.
Okay, do me a favor. Keep your hands out of your pocket while you talk to me.
Bernal's arrest happened just before 9 p.m. on January 21st when Mesa went to the Relay Club, a bar across the street from the police headquarters, on a report that a man had been kicked out. The video shows Mesa arrive and finds Bernal outside. Officer Mesa asks, "How's it going?" And Bernal responded, "They threw me out. Is anybody else here with you?" Mesa said that it was just him and a police dog in the car. Bernal had one hand in the pocket of his sweatshirt. Officer Mesa told him to take his hand out of his pocket. Bernal did, but then a moment later turned away from Mesa and put his hand back in his pocket. Mesa then grabbed Bernal by both arms and threw him to the ground.
Do me a favor. Do me a favor.
It's
keep your
not
hands out of
me.
your
It's
pocket.
them.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay, stop. Stop. Turn around. Turn around.
Okay, you pay my
He's starting
phone.
medical. He's got a injury to his organ.
The big issue here is that the officer goes immediately into a violent use of force. So the first thing we look at is whether excessive force was used. Now, if excessive force is used, under these circumstances, it would be a violation of the Fourth Amendment. In order to determine that, we look at the Graham factors from Graham versus Connor. One, what is the severity of the crime that the suspect is accused of or suspected of committing? Here, all we know from the police report, which I will post at the blog post link below, is that there was a call, a report of an intoxicated subject who had been kicked out of this bar, the Relay Bar. According to the report, that's it. No additional information indicating that this man might be dangerous or might be armed. So all we know is he may be intoxicated. He observed bloodshot and watery eyes, a staggered gait, and an odor of alcoholic beverage emanating from Mr. Bernal. The only additional information the officer has is that this guy may be intoxicated, which, of course, he already knew because he's responding to a bar to a report of an allegedly intoxicated man. Again, no allegation that he may be armed or dangerous as of yet. What else happened prior to going into this violent use of force? All we can see from the body cam footage is that the guy put his right hand, which the officer could observe not holding any sort of a weapon, his right hand into his jacket. And of course, as free citizens walking around in the United States of America, it's not a crime to put our right hand in our pocket. You can't just take for granted that this man is even seized at this point under the Fourth Amendment. Remember that this is a pedestrian the police officer is walking up to. This is not the subject of a traffic stop. So a police officer can control the situation, tell you to get out of the car, can tell you to keep your hands where he can see them. But this is just a guy that's on a sidewalk. All the police officer knows at this point is he was called to a bar referencing an intoxicated person. And he sees this guy. He hasn't identified him yet. He doesn't know if that's the intoxicated person. He doesn't know whether he's suspected of committing any crime. It would be very difficult to argue that this man was even detained at this point. I don't see that there's any reasonable suspicion to detain this man, which would be required to make it a valid investigatory detainment under the Fourth Amendment. So I think not only is there excessive force, but there is a search and seizure Fourth Amendment violation just in the seizing itself of this guy. And then the officer takes it one step further and seizing him in such a way, even assuming that that was legal, as to create another constitutional violation by doing it excessively.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So what's going on?
Essentially, this proves that whatever information was known about this guy's conduct inside the bar is completely irrelevant to the excessive force analysis, because the officer did not even ask about it or learn about it until after the use of force had already occurred.
I don't know, man. This guy was just
So I'm working right now. So what ended up happening was this customer came in, poured him a couple drinks. He seemed okay.
This guy right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say he's on the tad eccentric side.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was kind of rambling about something, just trying to be polite and serve drinks. And then he started getting fussy about one of the last drink I poured him. So I poured him a total of 2. The second drink I poured him, he says, "This isn't my drink," and he just dumps the shit across the bar. And then he gets upset with me, and then asked me to go outside with him. I said, "I don't need to go." He says, "Hey, what you did in my drink's not right." And I told him, because I was nice to him, and I didn't appreciate the drink thing being thrown over the bar, so I told him to fuck off.
Yeah.
And then he invited me outside, he invited this guy outside, and he was kind of trying to stir shit up.
Oh, yeah.
Looking for something, and
I pushed him out.
yeah.
Close the
Because
door,
he
said, "You're not, you're
It's all right,
8'6",
yeah.
But
you're out."
it looked like he was trying to solicit a fight from somebody, and that was my concern.
Okay.
And it wasn't a big problem,
Yeah.
but it had potential to escalate to something. And just thought it'd be better to get ahead of it than let it turn into something between a customer.
He was
and
combative with
another
me
customer.
as soon as I walked up.
Okay.
He was argumentative and yeah. So
I grabbed him by the lapels and pushed him out the door. I shut the door and said, "You're 86."
yeah, that's quite all right. All I need is just your contact information, sir.
Sure.
Go ahead. But I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you guys.
Yep.
On a put report in this place here. I leave like $100 tip down
637
for nothing. Because people here like they want to do whatever they want.
Too much to drink tonight?
Yeah, have a couple drinks.
You got
They
the
have the shot.
No.
He's in a call.
I appreciate it.
I don't have enough. I don't use drugs.
You don't use drugs?
Nope.
Usually people who say I don't use drugs, guess what they do?
Well, use drugs.
Alright, well played.
You
That was
fuck
pretty
yourself, dude. You motherfucker. You work for me, you know that?
good. Thank you.
No, don't thank you. Fuck you. I paid you to fuck me, come around and fuck me up. Really? That's how I
Hey, where'd you
pay
get
my
your
taxes?
canine unit?
Yeah.
Think
Man, my
about
buddy
that.
Drew, but he's a Fairfield cop. Man, he had his canine.
Yeah.
They gave him, what do they call it? Like super teeth.
Like titanium teeth?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they didn't take.
No? He lost them?
No. Yep.
So mine is missing all of his front teeth, all the small ones, and then his canines are like flat.
Oh no shit.
I mean, he still bites and it still hurts. It hurts even more because they're dull.
Now, but what kind of dog you have?
A Belgian Malmo.
Yeah, because now they do the smaller dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they're-
that's what he is. He's a small, athletic dog.
Yeah.
He's good. Like, I'm on the SWAT team, so he's good to, like, I can lift him up and throw him up here. Really agile.
What is he?
Yeah.
A Belgian Malmo.
That's what they. That's
Yeah.
what they do now.
Super
They
fast.
don't
They
use. They
jump.
don't,
They,
they don't use the German Shepherds.
No, no. My buddy trains
My
those
boy-
dogs. He's
my-
in Georgia right now.
oh, nice.
And he trains
You know what city you're in?
Solano County?
Oh, the city. I want to know what city you're in.
Vallejo.
Okay, you know what year it is?
Really?
I have to ask these. I'm sorry. You got a big old goose leg on your head. I don't know what happened. I'm trying to get that from you, but you don't want to tell me.
Ask them.
Well, no, I'm here to talk to you, not to the police. I want to make sure you're okay.
There's no dispute that this guy was injured, so it's documented by the body cam footage, and presumably there are medical records documenting it as well. And that's one of the things that the courts will look at, and that ultimately a jury may look at in determining whether or not excessive force was used here. Another important thing to look at would be the police report and the words of the officer. In this particular police report, this is what he said. He kept his hand in his pocket and attempted to walk away from me. He was detained at this time and he was not free to leave. That wasn't obvious from the body cam footage, was it? No, I don't think the video corroborates those allegations from from the officer.
Do me a favor. Do me a favor.
It's
Keep
not
your hands
me,
on your
it's
pocket.
them.
Okay.
You know what?
Okay. Stop. Stop. Turn around. Turn around.
I grabbed a hold of him by the left forearm in an attempt to detain him in handcuffs. Initially placed both of his hands behind his back, I attempted to place him in the handcuffs. He resisted my effort to detain him by quickly returning his right hand to his right jacket pocket and turning his body away from me. I utilized a leg sweep takedown to overcome his resistance and escort him to the ground. That's not true either, is it? The use of force was effective, and I was able to take him into custody without further incident.
Moses.
Nope.
Listen, you're going to go to the hospital regardless.
I'm not going to.
Moses.
Nope.
Okay, Moses.
You cannot force me to.
You're under arrest. You're under arrest. Police officers arrested you.
What you are arresting me for?
I arrested you. Okay?
No,
Listen.
excuse me.
Listen.
You
Stop.
didn't. Can I
Stop
talk
and
to
listen.
him? He's the one who
He's
was.
not the investigating officer. He's not the arresting officer. I am. Okay?
Was you having me here?
So listen. Once we're done here, you're going to go to the hospital, and then you're going to jail. You're under arrest
For what?
public intoxication and resisting arrest.
No, I cannot be.
No doesn't change anything. You can disagree all you want. That's
I
what's
can
happening.
sue you. What's
That's
your
fine.
name?
You're
Mesa.
right there.
Mesa.
Okay? That's fine.
Really, Mesa?
Really what?
I come over
Elaborate.
here.
Really what?
You know what? Can I talk to my lawyer?
Yeah. When
Yeah.
you get to jail,
Yeah.
they'll give you a phone call.
Because Mesa and Dupree.
Dupree didn't do anything.
Dupree, you doing anything?
What's that?
There you go. I'm ready for you guys.
You want something dirty?
You,
Do you want it?
you're gonna be down, dude.
Am I?
Yeah.
For what? Explain.
I don't have to sprint you. Understand?
Dirty. Come on.
I don't have to sit down there.
His name's Moses.
Moses. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Moses, I'm Brian. How you doing? You're all good, yeah.
The video was released last week under California's Police Transparency Law, AB 748, that requires the release of video of incidents where police use of force causes great bodily injury. The law requires the release of such video within 45 days of the incident, but the video was not released until after the Vallejo son had learned of the incident and requested the video last month. Bernal's arrest is just one of 6 reported incidents where Vallejo police have caused severe injuries so far this year. The city is required to release the video of each incident, but so far has only released video of Bernal's arrest and a shooting in June. Officer Mesa was also involved in another incident last year when his canine bit a man after a brief pursuit. The guy then filed a lawsuit. It subsequently settled for $40,000. In that case, the city of Vallejo agreed to pay $40,000 to settle this lawsuit by the driver who said he was attacked by the Vallejo police dog following a police pursuit last year. The lawsuit was filed in U.S. District Court, alleging that the police used excessive force, big surprise, and violated his civil rights when they allowed their police dog to bite his arm for 23 seconds through the window of his car. I have several other police dog videos, including some cases I'm litigating, that I'll also link if you're interested in watching those. The city quickly settled that lawsuit for $40,000 a month after it was filed, and that is pretty unusual. Usually these things get fought all the way to the courthouse steps. This incident called into question the police department's use of force statistics that they had released through their professional standards division. The Vallejo police spokesperson Rashad Hollis acknowledged that the 2022 use of force statistics were inaccurate and said that the professional standards division would be reviewing the data to re-release it. The use of force reports show a significant increase in force by Vallejo police officers so far this year. But Vallejo police argued that certain categories were not tracked well last year, making comparisons difficult. I mean, that is shocking. If you know government like I do, you would be shocked by that statistic. And I'll link the article on that as well below. Great reporting from the Vallejo Sun, reporter Scott Morris. So check those out. So at the end of the day, if this had happened where I practice here in West Virginia and this guy came to me and I was presented with this same information, would I take this case? Yeah, sure. I think this case I think it's a piece of cake. It's not a huge case, but there is definitely, at the very least, an excessive force case here. And excessive force cases are actually pretty easy generally to get past qualified immunity because there's just so much case law out there. It's so well and clearly established that police officers are not supposed to be using violence on somebody who's technically not even being detained under the Fourth Amendment or under arrest. I mean, there's just many, many cases to point to. This guy probably got very few medical bills, very little medical damages to point to. But you know what? At the end of the day, you put this in front of a jury, and even if they award $1, which they're supposed to do if they find a constitutional violation, you're still going to be able to collect attorney's fees and expenses. So the client will get justice and some attorney would get paid for it. That in turn would then pump up the settlement value to where it would make it more likely the guy would get some sort of a settlement pre-trial, such as what happened in the other case involving the dog bite involving this same officer. So yeah, I'd take the case. It's pretty easy. It's very well documented on body cam footage. And the U.S. Supreme Court has held in Scott versus Harris that it doesn't really matter what the police officer says. If he says the guy was told he was detained and he was disobeyed commands, whatever, it doesn't matter. It is clearly contradicted by the body cam footage, and the courts are allowed to throw that testimony out essentially and go with the body cam footage because who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes? As always, thanks for going through this with me. If you like doing this, subscribe both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. Remember, my rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.